We're seeing some answers come in on how, Jeff, thank you for joining us. We're seeing some answers come in right now on how to like how we would vision the world of change. If we were to like look at what change we want for the world and we were to be the voice of change, and if we were able to use our own wisdom and our own center to be the voices of change, what would be some of the directions that people would want to take? Because I started by talking about how our retreat that's coming up in August is called The Voice of Change. And what does that actually mean to be the voice of change in the world? I would like to rewind to the 50s and 60s. Okay, well, interesting you're saying that because we'd like to rewind a little further back than even that. Isn't that right, Jeff? Oh. So as you guys just noticed, we just got our great friend and teacher and beautiful soul, Jeff Firewalker, here to join us. And Patrick's here to my right. You probably knew that, but he hasn't been saying anything yet. So we are the three that will be bringing this retreat to Woodbourne, New York in August, and are coming out here today to just talk a little bit about why this might be something that you should attend. And Jeff, why don't you start? Because they've just heard me talk for a few minutes about like what's driving this movement right now. Be the voice of change.
Yeah, so it's really good to be with everyone and good to see you, Patrick and Marin, and looking forward to our sacred shenanigans in just a few weeks.
Yes.
So yes, it's a very inspiring and powerful time right now, and I just returned from another sojourn with my teachers in the Andes, and they reminded me of something very powerful and very interesting that I think might shed some light and some inspiration on these times and also our event, providing some context perhaps as to why the three of us are so motivated to share what we want to share with you. And that is, we recognize collectively that this is a time of prophecy, a time of tremendous transformation, and that the rules of engagement, the way that consciousness and matter are coming together, the way that the soul joins matter and manifests these, miraculous things we call human beings is rapidly changing. And I was reminded by Don Victor Chura that this is the first time in their known history, the known history of the nature mystics of the high Andes, that they can't, with their imagination, look over the threshold and see what's ahead. And there are different ways to respond to that. You could respond to that with, "Oh my God, this is horrible. I can't see what the future is about." Or you can respond by and this is how the Pacos, the Andean nature mystics, respond, and that is, "Wow, we are about to hit such a huge transformative change that there's nothing in our conscious minds that are even able to comprehend the splendors of what's ahead." The very nature of how consciousness and matter interact is changing right before our eyes and will only accelerate in these coming times. And so when I think about, as a teacher and as a wisdom carrier, when I think about these sorts of thresholds, I always go back to history and go back to first principles. And what is said in Genesis? First, there was the Word. The esoteric nature of that, the underlying nature of that, is actually means first there was the sound. First there was the vibration. And throughout various times in history, there have been messengers, either as individuals or as groups, that have come forward with the new vibration, the new sound, the new word to usher in the new age. It is for us to act as beacons, as antennas, and shine forward that next word. This retreat is about empowering each of us whether we're doing our work individually or collectively, to find those templates, to find those vibrations, those sounds that will usher in and act as seed crystals for what is next in this spectacular universe that we inhabit. And so what inspired me so much from the very beginning of the discussions that Patrick and Mira and I were having is that this marriage of Andean nature, mysticism, and vocal transformative energy is really one of the most potent things that I think we can offer at this time, because not only do we work with the incredible vocal alchemy and tools and techniques that Patrick and Maren offer, but we also provide a perspective, an evolutionary perspective of what it means to live in a time of prophecy. And so, how can we sit in this place of transformative unknowing, this place of mystery, and from deep in the core of our beings, understand what is the template, what is the sound, what is the word that we can begin to articulate and emanate that will be supportive for what is next in this potent evolutionary jump that we're in. That's why I'm excited about being here.
Yeah, me too. And thank you for that. So yes, the you guys are so important as part of this. It's really, it's like this is a time of prophecy, as Jeff says, and we know that, but we have to really look at what prophecy we're plugging into and what we believe is going to come and what we think is up. And I just can't reiterate enough that the reason why we're doing this retreat is because each and every human is necessary right now. So if you feel like you are disconnected at all to what that truth of what life you want to see for this world, of how you want to show up, and of what you want the earth to look like moving forward, if you think that your voice and your intentions and your being is not an important piece in it, and that someone out there is about to decide that for you and you're just going to have to go along for the ride, what we are here to really help you unlock and connect to is that inner voice within you that knows, because you do, because it came with your body and it came with your soul and it came with your heart and it came with all of those things. And we have lived in a world functioning one way for a while, but now we're at the precipice of it being able to function another way. So on this retreat, we want to really bring you into the silence where your wisdom truly lives. And Patrick is going to be helping us with that. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think what you shared, Jeff, about the teachers, your teachers in the Andes, for the first time being able to trying to look ahead and to sense into what's on the horizon or what's coming next, and not getting anything or not really picking up on anything. The first thing that really comes to mind for me there is just this idea of potential, this
Mm-hmm.
idea of almost like a an abyss, or this, like, in the Buddhist way of thinking of it, like the emptiness, which can be like, oh, everything's empty. That can feel like sort of a heavy sort of kind of negative concept in some way. But really, how I'm intuiting it, and I think would on this retreat we really would love to go into, is just like that voidness or that emptiness, which is so full of potential, right? That we have, that exists deep down within us. That potential to remember, that potential to awaken to what we are, that potential to allow whatever it is, our voice, our way of expression, whatever essence that is, whatever authentic expression wants to come forth, allowing ourselves and finding ways to access that, like Maren said, so where we can really hold that. So I feel like on this retreat, in many ways, you know, we say, for calling up change makers, or people who want to bring, their vision forward and want to express themselves and who have a voice. I think it's also very important for people who can sense and intuit and feel that they have something to give, that they know which way they want to be going, but perhaps are really overwhelmed, perhaps really like can't quite decide, because let's face it, we're so inundated with so much information these days and so many different ideas. We're being pulled here and there, and things are really ramping up for a lot of us. and it can be really hard to find our center. It can be really hard to actually align with what's important to our deep down into our hearts, to ourselves, what's important for us, what we want to express, how we want to be, how we want to change, the type of world we want to see for the future. Right? We're being so challenged at in these times just to take our attention back and put it where it really matters, for ourselves and for others, really, and for others. So yeah, so I feel like what's important to know and important to communicate as well is that it's not necessarily, we're not only calling to folks who perhaps have a vision already, or who are perhaps already engaged in the world in some way, in some cause, and are working towards it, who may want like a boost forward, or to be, inspired. But in particular, also to the people who really know and can sense, but aren't really sure. So there's like that aspect of the darkness, that aspect of the potential, of the not knowing, of the uncertainty, which really is our nature anyway. And just to know that really this retreat, I think, can very much offer people tools and ways to uncover that, and ways to bring forth their power and to claim that, as we move forward. So yeah, so that's what I feel is important to say, you know.
That's powerful. And, I think woven into what you both just articulated so beautifully is the fact that on many different levels, and whether these are conscious efforts or part of the sort of unconscious counter evolutionary forces that necessarily come with every point of prophecy and evolution, is that there is an affront upon human sovereignty right now. There are legions of people, and many of which are in great places of authority, that are telling us that we need external agency, that we need something from outside in order to solve the world's greatest challenges. We need external agency to connect to spirit. We need external agency to cope as biological beings on the earth. And this essence of be still and know that I am, Patrick would say, is essentially at the core of that very ancient teaching, be still and know that I am, is probably the most powerful place and powerful way that human beings can come together now. Because when we come together now in this place of silence, in this place of embrace of the uncertain darkness, with the courage to take that often essential leap into the limitless, into the uncertainty, is a very powerful place. That's where the seeds of what is next can be found. It's not in the frenetic pace of in life that we see in the industrialized world. It's in silence, sitting in the old ways with our loved ones. That's where we will find the new sound, the new seed, the bija of the future. And that's very exciting.
Yes, I mean, it is a very exciting time, everybody. Sometimes excitement, when not breathed correctly, can feel like terror. But I hear what you're saying, Jeff, as far as like human sovereignty, free will. This is something I talk about all the time when it comes to the voice, the throat chakra, how we use our voice. It's our area of choice and follow through. It's our area of what we are going to bring from within to the outer world. And the throat also is the open channel of how spirit can connect all the way into the body. So we have this altar. I call it basically the altar. An altar is a physical manifestation that conducts spirit and connects it to the earth, right? And our throat chakra is our altar. And when it's closed because we are afraid, because our head has some idea of the way that the world functions and the way it should function, and we keep ourselves stuck, we miss the opportunity to really channel what the movement is now. And every single human has the ability, has this connection. So when we're doing voice work, which we're going to be doing on this retreat together, we are really going to be tapping into your original voice, your connection of spirit and body, and how certain frequencies and vibrations can wake up your deepest knowing, your instinctual intelligence, your emotional intelligence. And yes, your intellect is important, of course, but mostly intuition and imagination, which lives up here as well. And if we get too intellectual, which we are living in a society right now that like really rewards intellect, but if we actually could see a way forward where intellect merges and works with emotional intelligence, instinctual intelligence, intuitive intelligence, and the great imagination of a human, now we have like a canvas that we can paint a new vision on that might move differently than right now. We all know that there's no reason why we shouldn't have the sovereignty, that the birthright that we were born with, that we're on this beautiful planet together and we're here to experience our life. And I want to ask you, do you feel like the life you're experiencing right now is the one of your choosing? Do you feel like you are in a story and in an experience that is what you truly want to be living? Or are you just checking the boxes and doing it by the way you've been told to do it? So if you feel at all like you're just forced into something and you're just following someone else's orders, and you want to know how to find your own sovereign center, your own authentic voice, and you want to plug into information that's been on this planet forever, that's been hidden in plain sight from us and kept by the wisdom keepers of the world for when we're ready to take it back, which the time is now. If you really are feeling the call to step up, step in, claim your place, do your part, and contribute to this way moving forward, this retreat was created specifically for you. For those of us who are really ready to tap in and to be in community together in a heart-centered, instinctually open, free and caring and supportive, beautiful container where we can start to dream this world the way we all really want to be living in it.
So beautifully articulated, Maren. So beautifully articulated. If I could, I'd like to loop back just for a second to teaching around the meeting of the embodied self of heaven and earth in this altar we call the throat center. And you know what you're articulating has everything to do with what many elders from around the world are telling us about this time. You know, we are at the end of at the completion, we should celebrate this, at the completion of a very important phase of conscious evolution on this planet. And this phase has had mostly to do with the strengthening and the exploration of the mental plane. And one of the main tools, at least at this level of consciousness of that development, is the creation of compartments of self-consistent models of knowing and understanding, domains of knowing and understanding, physics, biology, philosophy, et cetera, et cetera. And as we have filled those different silos with tremendous depths of understanding and knowing, we see that what is next is a reintegration phase. And that reintegration phase means that we have to bring down the oftentimes false narratives and barriers between these different domains of understanding and return to a place where we have a total felt sense, a knowing that there is but one river of wisdom, one river that everything that is living sources from. This is what is characterizing this time. So each of us can play a role in this transformation. And how do we do that? We do that by admitting that the ways that used to work, the ways that worked in a mentally plain, preoccupied phase of evolution, no longer work. And so what we need to do together is come to a place of reintegrating our different compartments of understanding. So when we look at the bioenergetic body map, we see that it's very easy to compartmentalize the different functions, the mental area, the heart area, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that vibrational medicine is really good at doing is the dissolution of false barriers. And so, through working the inner alchemies of the Andes and um, vibrational medicine, we can become models for what it means in the world to bring down those false dichotomies, those false barriers between domains of understanding. So we're going to bring together ancient Andean inner alchemy practices with this vocal transformation work, and you will, complete your time with us with a whole new toolbox of tools, techniques, and understanding about how to be effective in this time of reintegration, of reunification, of breaking down false barriers and dichotomies between domains of understanding, and thus be an agent of transformation and awakening on the planet. This is an exciting time.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
You want to say something?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to use his words actually because he's not saying anything to it. He said something to me last week. We were talking about doing this live and he was like, if everybody knew what this offer was and what that people were coming to get, we wouldn't have to advertise it. People would run to show up to the weekend we're about to have. And I just wanted to say that out loud because it's true. I mean, not because we're the ones running it, but because what we're going to be doing this weekend is like, it's the recharge, the battery refill. It's the re-plug into it all and the ways that we're going to go through it. If you're feeling like you need support in this time, it's a weekend and we're going to give you all the support that you need. And it just feels like we've been to work with Jeff, which is why we're doing this retreat with him. This is the first time we're doing a retreat side by side, Jeff, and we'd follow this man absolutely anywhere because his teachings and his ways are remarkable. And if you've come to any of our retreats and we've worked on the voice, to link it really in with these Andean teachings and with these ways of tapping into the truth of what you are and our connection to this planet and how as humans we're here to serve this. It's going to be the most uplifting, inspiring, deep, profound, like expansive 3 days. I wish we could do it for a couple weeks, but the reason why we're doing it for 3 days is so that you could actually come, because we know how hard it is with scheduling and taking all that time. And yes, maybe in the future we'll make a longer version of this because it does require. It's like it should be a year-long program. But over this weekend, we are going to cover so many different ways that are going to come together that will truly empower you in your movement forward in this world, however you choose it to be. So, yeah, we just jumped on here today to give you a little taste of what it is that we're up to. And I want to thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Jeff, for joining me here on this live today.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you to think about this. The voice of change, what does that mean for you? The way you use your voice now, is it in alignment with the good change you'd like to see in this world? Are you contributing to a a voice of connection, peace, expansion, love, understanding, compassion, whatever those words or feelings are of how you would like to see the world different? When I asked you before, what is the change that you would like to write for the future? Is your voice currently contributing to it in that way? And if it's not, do you need help with that? Or if you don't even know what change you want to see, if all you know right now is that you don't want to see what you're currently seeing and that you are not happy with the way things are, this retreat we're doing at AKERA in August will help you get through the door and onto the path to really feeling in to your wisdom. And guys, this world needs your wisdom so dearly. We need every single beautiful beating human heart and soul on board right now for the shift that we are all going through. We cannot sit on the sidelines anymore and just watch someone else in their power decide they're going to do something with our lives. We have to really step forward and be this voice of change. And we would love to help you find your voice of change or just strengthen your voice of change if it's already yours and found. So I hope that this little call today has maybe made your little mouth water or made your little heart beat or made you feel like, huh, I want to go hang out with those guys for 3 days in August because we would absolutely love to see you in Woodbourne, New York. And we will be putting information here of how you can register down below, so that if you feel like you want to join us, please do. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, just the one last thing is like it's important to know that everything that we're going to be teaching and bringing forth, it's all very accessible, right? It's what I found so much about these practices and doing them over time. And it's very, yeah, it's accessible. Anyone really can do it. And it's really just a matter of committing to it, you know, and it's a very powerful over time. And so there's not, you don't need any, you know, no prerequisite or any kind of previous training or understanding. And it's wide open. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't clash with any worldview or ideologies or religion or anything like that, you know. So I think it's important to know that very accessible, the teachings that we share, and yeah, available to anyone. Yeah. It's going to be good.
Patrick, that is so true.
Hmm.
Simple medicine is the best.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to add, Jeff?
Well, my problem is I could talk everybody into a coma today, so I could go on and on, but I think we did a pretty good job of giving a top level overview of what this is all about. We are super jazzed about coming together and being with all of you. So we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yes. Much love to all of you. Everyone who came on this call and stayed, thank you so much. Those of you who checked in and from all over the world, I saw where you were all coming in from. Like, thank you so much for paying attention, for being here, for being alive, for being the voice. And I just wish you all blessings, many, many blessings on your lives and your journeys.